American friends, do you still sound like a foreigner when you speak Portuguese? If you are struggling to lose that American accent and are still getting lots of replies in English, then today I want to help you. Let's improve that pronunciation so you can finally blend in. I'm Liz, I am a Portuguese teacher who is based in Lisbon, and the majority of my students are American. I'm even married to one. So I'm very familiar with the exact sounds that you need to work on to lose that American accent when you're speaking Portuguese. So if you need this video today, give it a like and make sure you are subscribed, because I give free lessons in practical Portuguese every week in plain English that you're not going to want to miss. So let's get into it. So the first thing giving you away as an American in Portugal is your O. Now, we have 3 ways to pronounce the letter O in Portuguese. You can repeat after me. O, U. So where are you going wrong? The word obrigado often sounds like this. Obrigado. So can you hear how it's the O's that are giving us away here? The first O in this very important word, which of course means thank you in Portuguese, should be an O, instead of the sound A that you may often make if you are saying a word that begins with O. For example, obvious. We don't want A, we want O. Obrigado. The second O is also kind of tricky. When a word ends in an O, we're going to use an U sound. So we don't want the O, obrigado, that we would be usually using. Instead, we want an U, obrigado. So can you see that just by changing your O's and learning the rules of when we should be using an open O, a closed O, or even the U sound is going to make you sound so much better. If you're finding this helpful already, I do have a whole pronunciation guide that is downloadable for free in the description. It helps you master 7 of the most difficult sounds, so go ahead and grab that now. The next sound to give you away is your R. Now, when we say an R, also the way that I speak English as well, we say this, R. I want you to say it now. Sounding a bit like a pirate, but here it goes. R. Now, can you feel that your tongue is completely suspended in your mouth? It's not touching anything inside our mouth. So this is how we do the R when we are speaking English. But in Portuguese, the single R is quite different. The way we make it the sound is by making a short tap on the roof of our mouth with our tongue. R, r. And that's called the tapped R, and it's very important, but very difficult to master. So I want you to think of the following word, car. If we change this to the Portuguese word for expensive, you're going to want to say caro, caro, and you're going to have a R sound in there. Now that's not what we want. We want the tapped R that I explained before. So it would sound like this, caro, caro. So how can we master making that tapped R sound? Well, there's something quite similar that you guys do when you say a D or a T in your accent. So think about the word tidy, tidy. When you make the D sound, you are actually doing this exact motion that we're looking for in a tapped R in Portuguese. So something you could play around with doing is swapping the R in a word and putting a D in there instead, and see if it makes it easier to say. So instead of spelling the word caro with an R, what if we put a D in there and you tried to pronounce it now? Caro, caro. Can you see that you're getting closer to the tapped R sound? This is really difficult to master, but if you can practice it and get it right, this is going to be one of the best ways to lose your American accent. Remember, this also applies when an R is at the end of the word. So for example, the verb falar, falar. People want to say falar, and this is where you're going to get tripped up. So make sure you're practicing putting a tapped R at the end of words as well. Another common thing with Americans is that lots of you have studied Spanish before, and this is definitely going to creep in to your Portuguese. Now, I have done several videos about this. You can definitely check them out next. I will make sure that they are linked in the description. One of the most prominent ways this is going to happen is with your E's that come at the end of the word. So words like gente, igualmente. Can you hear how I'm really swallowing that final E? We make it a closed E. We don't make it a whole exaggerated syllable, and it's certainly not the open E that you would hear or be used to hearing when you're speaking Spanish. So rather than saying gente, igualmente, okay, and going up at the end there, we want to make sure we're swallowing them instead. So give it a try. Repeat after me. Gente. Igualmente. This is one of the best ways to make sure that you are sounding more Portuguese. I promise if you can spend some time practicing the tips in this video, you are going to go a long way to losing that American accent and start sounding more like a local. If you want more help from me, I do have an awesome program for beginners that takes you from saying your very first words up to having your first conversations with native speakers in Portuguese. So if you'd like to find out more about that, please go to the description and take the free taster lesson. I would love to help you out even more. So I'll be back at the same time next week with more tips and tutorials to improve your confidence and conversation skills in Portuguese. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Ciao for now.